What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin. Come back to you with 2015 playoffs. We are now in the divisional round. Last week in the wild card round, I went 3-1. The only game I did lose was the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game. Baltimore ended up going into Pittsburgh and beating them. I'm going to quickly go through this one. I'm actually going to give the injury reports. You know, this is only 4 games, so I can really talk about more so in depth. Which team needs to do what to win. I'm going to give injury reports and whatnot. First game is actually today at 4:35 Eastern Standard Time. The Baltimore Ravens head to New England to play the Patriots. I'm going to quickly go through the injury reports. Questionable, Eugene Monroe, ankle. Probable, Owen Daniels, non-injury related. There's a few non-injury related things that they say, so that obviously who knows what the hell it is. Most of these guys are gonna play, even if they're injured or not, unless it's a severe injury. Timmy Jernigan, Daryl Smith. Jernigan has a foot ankle. Daryl Smith is non-injury related. Terrell Suggs non-injury related. You know he's gonna play against the Patriots. For the Patriots, probable Tom Brady, he's gonna play. It's an ankle. Julian Edelman, concussion, he's gonna play. Jonas Gray, they use so many running backs. Who's to say he gets any playing time anyway? And Brandon LaFell, shoulder and toe. So I think around playoff times, man, these guys usually suck up those injuries and they go out there and still, and try to play. The keys to this game in particular are, of course, for Baltimore, being able to get pressure on Brady is definitely a key. They were able to do that last week against Pittsburgh, and they'll need to be able to do it this week. They've been good all year. They're second in the league in sacks in the regular season, so they've been able to get it after the quarterback. Dumerville, Suggs, Mosley. Those guys are able to get pressure on the quarterback quite often. Offensively for the Ravens, can they make plays in the passing game? And Forsett, I know I talked about Tyler Farrell last week. My apologies, but Forsett will, can they run the ball, take some pressure so they won't have to keep constantly throwing it? And can they be successful throwing the ball? It's the question against, Darrelle Reeves, who's been really good this year against Browner. Although Browner's had his penalty problems, can they be successful in the passing game is, definitely key for them to be successful. Obviously, with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is the guy on offense. It's no longer the run game first, it's passing first. For New England defensively, they need to get pressure. I expect a guy like Reeves in the back end to play well. They're gonna need to get pressure. They still have not done a good job of getting pressure. And when Chandler Jones was out, they really couldn't get pressure, and he can't be the only guy that can generate a pass rush. They need Ninkovich in there. They're gonna have to bring more blitzes to get after Flacco. You can't sit back and let him throw the football. Offensively, I think being able to run the ball effectively can really take some pressure off that pass. From that pass rush, you won't have Brady drop back 30 to 40 times against a really good pass rush. So I think running the ball is going to be important. You got Vereen, you got God, I can't remember the name. LeGarrette Blount. You got LeGarrette Blount. And I think they should stick to the run. Another guy I mentioned, Jonas Gray, he can come in there and run the ball effectively. And the offensive line does a good job of run blocking. So I think running the ball effectively is going to be important. It's going to be key for the Patriots offensively to sustain long drives and inevitably get points. Who I'm picking in this game? I'm still going to go with the Patriots. It's very tough to beat at home. I like what I saw from the secondary. Definitely a much improvement. Still have reservations about the pass rush, but I think the secondary can hold up their guys long enough, and I expect them to bring more blitzes. So I'm going to go with the Patriots. think it's going to be a close game, though, because Baltimore comes in confident, and most of the players really don't like New England, so they're going to get 110% from those guys. Plus, it's playoff time. Of course, you can get 110% from those guys. Next game, Carolina Panthers head to Seattle to play Seahawks. Injury reports, Star Lotulelei is out. That's a big-time injury. He actually played really good against the Cardinals. So, that is definitely a key loss for that Panthers front. Questionable Philly Brown shoulder, Thomas Deku hamstring, AJ Klein ankle, Melvin White ankle. For that's the injury report for Carolina. Seattle out, Jerron Johnson elbow questionable, Tony Moiki calf probable, Michael Bennett non-injury related, DeMarcus Dobbs ankle, Cooper Helfet ribs, Jermaine Kearse hamstring, Marshawn Lynch back. Definitely have to look at that. He's going to play. Byron Maxwell illness. Don't know exactly what illness that is. Therod Simmons shoulder, and Max Unger knee ankle. So some key questionable guys. Maxwell Bennett for Seattle. Also Max Unger. Definitely the huge loss of Star Lotulelei for Carolina. That's gonna really hurt, especially if the way Seattle is able to run the ball. But I'm gonna quickly get into keys. Carolina, you have to better run the ball effectively. You can't have Cam sitting back and throw, because you saw last week that he was just not able to make the throws, and it's gonna be tight windows, and he's gonna have to be accurate against this team. And just based on looking at the Cardinals game, he just hasn't been accurate. So being able to run the ball, he did a good job running the ball last week. I think being able to run the ball effectively, which is going to be even more difficult against the Seattle front. They don't give up many yards in the run game. So I think that's going to have to be important, is being able to run the ball effectively, and then playing off that run, and Cam getting some easier throws, not forcing the ball down the field to Kelvin Benjamin or Greg Olsen. I think him getting some easier throws and making it 2nd and 5, 3rd and 5, downs like that. Because when you get 3rd and 10, it's an obvious passing down. That's when the Seattle defense really is at their best. Michael Bennett, Cliff Averill, and you got that secondary. Get a lot of turnovers like that. So I think running the ball effectively is key for that Carolina offense. Key for Carolina defense is stopping Marshawn Lynch and stopping Russell Wilson. They're one of the best run teams in football, mainly because of what those two guys can do. You have to contain Russell Wilson. That's definitely a key, because the guy's so crafty. He gets out the pocket, and he knows when to run. He knows when not to run. And he uses his legs to make throws down the field. So you have to contain him in the pocket to neutralize his effectiveness. Because he's good in the pocket, but I think he's best on the run. And of course, you got to stop Marshawn Lynch. You have to. Those are the things they're gonna do first. They're gonna establish the run. The Seattle offense is gonna establish the run. Seattle side of things defensively. Just to counter what I said, they have to better slow down the run. They have to better get pressure on Cam Newton, which if you watch the game earlier this season, last year, of course, earlier in the season, they were able to get pressure on Cam Newton, especially near the end of the game, pretty much to seal the game. So getting pressure on Cam Newton, slowing down that run game is key. You can say that's key for any team, but Cam Newton, it seems when he's not playing well, not able to make the throws, or he's getting hit a lot, he loses a lot of confidence. Unlike some of the other quarterbacks, he loses a lot of confidence, and that really affects his throws. That really affects his enthusiasm for the game. And that's one thing I just cannot stand that he does. But it's something that he does do still. So getting pressure on him is definitely a key. and slowing down the run game because Carolina's going to try to establish the run game. Offensively, the weakness of the Carolina Panthers is the secondary. So I think more so they obviously, strength of the Seattle offense is running the ball. That's their strength. But, I think they should mix it up, to get more guys open and, do rollouts, different play off that running game, because even if they're not running effectively, teams are still wary of a guy like Marshawn Lynch because they know he can break one. So I think they should definitely use that as a weapon. They have. And, Russell Wilson, get him out on the move, making throws down the field, running when he can. The guy makes plays with his legs and his arm. He is a really good quarterback. I don't think he gets a lot of credit because he's on a great team. Who I'm picking this game, be a little biased. Sorry. I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers. I was thinking about picking Seattle, but now I was like, why not? Don't have, we got a lot of injuries. We had a huge underdog, especially, we lost another player to a foot injury. So we're definitely the underdogs. So I'm going to go with underdogs. Next game is Sunday. The Dallas Cowboys head to Green Bay to play the Packers. Big game, I would say. Definitely, all these games are big. I think it's even bigger for the Cowboys because they have the stigma of being, they get a lot of shit from the media. They get a lot of shit from fans of other teams for obvious reasons, because, the fans, some of the fans are ridiculous. And I've heard many people say it's not the team itself, it's the fans. Now, I know some really good Cowboys fans, on Twitter, and of course in real life. It's just the bad ones are the most vocal. Let's see. Injury report: Cowboys doubtful. Doug Free, questionable. Anthony Hitchens, ankle. Rolando McClain, knee concussion. Terrell McClain, ankle. Jeremy Mincey, concussion. Probable Bruce Carter, knee. James Hanna, knee. Nick Hayden, shoulder. Jeff Heath, thumb. Zach Martin, ankle. And DeMarco Murray, hand. Because, of course, I believe the week before, last week of the season, he had hand surgery. He had surgery on his hand. So that could still be a problem, especially in this really cold weather. It's going to be really cold in Green Bay. Let's see. And Tony Romo back. They still. I think his back is fine. He showed last week that he can make all the throws and that he could make earlier in the season. So I don't think his back is going to be a problem. For the Packers, questionable. Sean Richardson, knee. Probable. Josh Boyd, knee. Davon House, shoulder. Aaron Rodgers, calf. And Josh Sutton, toe. Now, Aaron Rodgers' situation, he has to have a slight tear in his calf, so we'll see how effective he can be because, he's a guy who does a lot of moving in the pocket, but, he can sit back in the pocket and make the throws. We know that. He can sit back in the pocket and make those throws. So we'll have to see how well he moves with his legs. Keys to victory for each team. Start with Cowboys. Offensively, establishing the run game. Establishing the run game, the best way to slow down a great quarterback is to keep him off the field. So running the ball really, extends drives and, of course, scoring touchdowns, because field goals won't do shit against the Packers because they can put up a bunch of points. So I say running the ball effectively for that offense can run the ball effectively for that offense can definitely a plus. And then, of course, Romo playing off that run. Romo's been great this year. So I think the key first is running the ball. That's been the one thing that the Cowboys have been really great at this year, is running the football with DeMarco Murray. Hopefully his hand is okay. But running the ball effectively is important. Defensively for the Cowboys, they're going to have to test how well Aaron Rodgers can move. So I'll say getting pressure, bringing an extra guy or two to be able to get pressure, because you can't sit back and sit back in a dime defense and hope to slow him down that way, giving him a whole bunch of time. No, you make him move around. You test that calf to see how healthy it is. That's definitely a key for that defense, is getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Packers offensively, I would say running the ball, because your quarterback's hurt, so you have to better run the ball effectively, and it's gonna really take pressure off him. Is Eddie Lacy, a guy who has has a bunch of talent. I think running the ball is the most important thing for this Packers offense, with your quarterback playing through an injury. Defensively, slowing down the Cowboys' run game. Slowing down the Cowboys' run game is definitely the most I say is important. The Cowboys can do so much, but I think slowing down the run game first, seeing as Green Bay is not great against the run. So if they can show up in the playoffs and slow down the run game, I think that's definitely a plus against the offensive line that does a good job of run blocking, and a running back who has great vision and has been one of the best running backs in football. The pick, I'm gonna go with Green Bay. I think being in Lambeau, cold weather, it's tough for anyone to play, especially the Cowboys could surprise me, but I like Green Bay in the cold weather. I think Aaron Rodgers, although I don't think he's going to move around as well as he normally does, I think he still sits back in the pocket and makes some great throws down the field. Because the weakness of that Cowboys defense is still the secondary. But they have a lot of weaknesses, but I think they've been actually pretty good against the run this year. It's still the secondary to me. And Aaron Rodgers, he can make all the throws. And that's why I think they get him. I think they're better run the ball well enough to take the pressure off Rodgers. So I'm going Green Bay. The last game, Sunday, 4:40 Eastern Standard Time. Indianapolis Colts head to Denver to play the Broncos. Injury report. I know this video is going on a little bit. Let me go through the injury report. Okay. Colts probable. Jarrell Freeman, abdomen. Jonathan Harrison, concussion. Andrew Jackson, hamstring. DeQuell Jackson is non-injury related. Wow. Hino Mayambo, whatever, back. Q Shipley, ankle. Greg Toller, knee. Eric Walden, knee. Reggie Wayne, non-injury related. For the Broncos, out. Quintarius Smith, knee, questionable. Linebacker Brandon Marshall, foot. Mitch Unrain, knee, probable. David Bruton Jr., concussion neck. Paul Kornick, toe. Orlando Franklin, concussion. Peyton Manning, thigh. Will Montgomery, knee. Aqib Talib, Achilles. Demaryius Thomas, ankle, finger. Julius Thomas, ankle. Juwan Thompson, hip, knee. TJ Ford, neck. And Kayvon Webster, shoulder. Wow. It's actually one of the bigger injury reports, especially for the Broncos. I think a lot of those guys are going to play. A lot of teams, are required to put out any injuries that a guy may have, or a guy does have that's lingering. A lot of those guys are fine. They're going to go out there and play, wrap up whatever part is hurting, and put on their pads and helmet and go out there and perform the best of their ability. That's all you can ask. Colts had a really good win. I like what I saw from the second half against Cincinnati. It was an undermanned Cincinnati team, but still, I like what I saw from the Colts. Andrew Luck, and it's their biggest strength and their biggest weakness. The guy does a lot for that offense, but he's required to, because he does so much, they allow him to do a lot. But I like what I saw from the running game. I can't remember the running back name, but I like what I saw from the running game, and I said that was a key. and I think they ran the ball well enough to allow Andrew Luck to make some plays off that run game. Let me check exactly how they run their running numbers from last week. Like I said, not great. Herron, 12 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown last week. Like I said, they didn't run the ball well. I mean, they didn't run the ball a bunch. Tipton, 11 carries for 40, so they had over 100 yards rushing. Because I know some other guys that ran the ball, so they had over 100 yards rushing. And seeing that, they've had problems ever since Bradshaw went down to run the ball. That was definitely important. And I ended up mentioning that. So this week, I'm still gonna say that's the key. Broncos have been pretty good against the run. So the Colts, seeing that they've been so poor at running the ball, they're gonna have to be able to do something similar to what they did last week. They can't start out flat against a Broncos team that can put up points and who's had a week to rest because Peyton Manning really struggled at the end of the year. So key for the Colts offense is, of course, running the ball, because Andrew Luck is going to do his thing. Running the ball, to me, is one of the keys, and it's one that not too many people will talk about. But running the ball is part of the game, and it's an important part because it makes you less predictable, especially when you got a good quarterback that can make the throws. So running the ball is important. Defensively, getting pressure on Manning. He's been dealing with injury. He's dealing with a thigh injury, and has not played well the last couple weeks of the season. So I think they should get pressure on him. I would say that right there alone is the most important thing defensively. It's getting pressure on him. He's a statue in the pocket, and at this point in his career, he never was a guy that could run. But getting pressure is important. From the Broncos side of things, offensively, running the ball, Anderson has actually been tearing it up. I would say the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and he was a big reason why they were winning some of the games that they did win, especially with Manning playing pretty bad. So I think running the ball, and it's crazy by a Peyton Manning-led team, I say running the ball. But it's important. Manning, he's an older guy. He's been dealing with problems. Run the ball. It takes pressure off him. And defensively, containing Andrew Luck, getting pressure on Andrew Luck is, an important thing. Oh, I would say the back end, but I think first getting pressure on Andrew Luck, force him into some errant throws, because I really think that Broncos front can slow down the run game for the Colts, or lack thereof. In this game, I'll go with the Broncos. I think the Broncos will be able to protect Manning, and Manning will make some of the throws down the field. I think he has a bounce back game from how he ended the season, which was pretty poor. I think he has a bounce back game, and they beat Denver. They beat the Colts. My bad. But let me know what you think. Video went on for 23 minutes. God, I don't know who's gonna watch it. Let me know what you think. How'd you do last week in the wild card round? What are your picks for this week? Of course, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe. Thanks for watching.